Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk. I'm Merle Huckabee, and I like to talk about real people, real life, real issues. This is Real Talk. Today is Friday, November 19th, 2021. I am so glad to be back with you. So glad. I truly missed being here. I was telling my technical producer, I can't believe it's been over a month since we've been here. But as he said, life happens. Life happens. I had an opportunity to enjoy a much needed vacation. Many of you may not know, but I'm a caregiver. And November is National Caregivers Month. So my hat goes off to all the caregivers. In November, I just can't believe that we're halfway through November. But while I was away, I want to just share with you. I had a chance to go to the Cancun Jazz Fest, Warren Hills Cancun Jazz Fest. Uh, we went there in 2019 and we started paying for our 2020 trip in 2019 with the expectation we would be there. And of course, as you know, COVID happened. And they had to reschedule a number of times, but I was just so grateful to be able to take that vacation because, if you're a caregiver, just everybody needs to take that time. We need to have that self-care and take that time to decompress. And so it was just something that I needed to do. I am grateful for that. Also, in October, I want to say congratulations to the Whitney Young Lady Dolphins high school tennis team. My daughter Miracle and the Lady Dolphins, just congratulations. They were the city championships for high school girls tennis. They went to and qualified conference, and they went to state and won sixth place in state. So congratulations to the Lady Dolphins of Whitney Young High School tennis high school team, and to Coach Willard and to Coach Abrams. Again, some talented athletes there. So I was doing a lot of that too on Fridays in October. And unfortunately, we weren't able to complete our breast cancer awareness, but just a little programming note. We will do that because I heard from a number of you, and I want to be able to talk and share your story with others. And we're going to do that in January. I think what a way to kick off the year when you can talk about, health and things that we need to do in preventive care. Speaking of that, also, you know, November is awareness for a lot of things. November is diabetes awareness month. It is also pancreatic cancer awareness month, lung cancer awareness month, stomach cancer, carcinoid cancer awareness. And so I think it's all too great that they put reminders and awareness, because it reminds us that we need to take the time to take care of ourselves and to check and do preventive checks. Even if you feel great, I think you should have an annual checkup. I mean, really, you should. So I am saying that I am highlighting those. There are tons of awarenesses that are in the month of November. And like I said, it is National Caregivers Month. And me being a caregiver to my mom, I know that it is a very challenging task at times. And so we're at the age where our parents are getting older, and that we have to give them some help. And, my mom lives with me. So some of us, have to be full-time caregivers, and we need those resources and we need that assistance. And so I have two guests today. We're going to be talking today. I want you to stay tuned because we're going to be talking with a young lady about who I consider to be an expert in this field, about senior care solutions and Medicare. So stay tuned for that. You may say, oh, I don't need to hear about Medicare, but I'm here to tell you that if you are a caregiver, if you have an aging parent, you need to listen to this. If you're approaching age 65, you need to listen to this. Or if you have a husband, or there's so much information that becomes overwhelming to us. So Lekeeta Charley will join us next, and to talk about that. I want to cover a few things before we do that. My brother Phil is going to be talking to us. I know he's probably really hot about that Rittenhouse verdict that came down, but we're going to be talking to my brother Phil. He's going to be joining us later on in the program. So I want to again say I'm grateful to be here, grateful, and Thanksgiving is this month. It's a time to really show and family to come together and us to be thankful for each other. You know, I want to say this before we get off into our topic. And I'm going to talk to Phil a little bit about this. Phil, if you're listening to me, I want you to kind of make a little note about this. You know, I had an opportunity to see Colin Powell's funeral on TV when it was on. I don't usually look at things sometimes and pay attention, but it kind of captivated me. And you get to learn about people and their lives through that. And I was kind of glad that they broadcast it. But I asked my daughter, my 17-year-old, who's a senior in high school, I asked her, did you get to see any of it? And she asked me a question. She said, Mom, why don't we learn about people like Colin Powell in school? Boom. That hit me. And it's a reminder that history is not being, well, let me put it this way, Black history is not being taught. And it brings me to a point. I don't know if you all heard about this and what your thoughts are, but me and my brother Phil are going to get into this later about that Texas principal who was forced to resign. I think his name was James Whitfield. And you know, they were having some problems with the newsletter he sent out and some things claiming that he was practicing and trying to teach the critical race theory. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I want you to know that I think this ties in with our history. There is a certain amount, and back when I was younger, when I was a kid in school, we learned about Black history mostly during the month of February. That is the only time that we did. There was not any really African American studies. Some high schools did have them. I'm talking more so about elementary school. If you remember around King's birthday, Black History Month, they would have clips and segments of Dr. King and the marches and his assassination and all of that on TV. You rarely see that unless you're hitting a docuseries or some kind of documentary. But I mean, I'm talking about on actual regular TV. We had to write papers. We had to find out, you know, who our Black heroes and ancestors were. And we're not seeing a lot of that. You know, and back to that school in Texas with that principal, you know, a lot of parents were pissed the hell off, you know, because that was a majority Caucasian or white school that he was the principal of. And a lot of them felt that, you know, this was no place. This was non-American to be trying to practice or to teach critical race theory. And what it does is, if you notice, and these are my words now, totally my words. You know, we got diversity, we have equity and inclusion, and we put those words out, but are we really practicing them? That's really what I really want to say. Are we really practicing? Is it right for us to learn about one history and one race's history and not another. So just something to think about. And when that my daughter asked me that question of why we don't learn about this in school, it kind of hit me and it made me kind of think about that. Anyway, going back to our topic, you know me, I'm Merle, and I'm going to just drop some pearls of wisdom and just, cause you to just think about and talk about these conversations. These are conversations we need to continue and things that we need to talk about because it's not just about us, it's about our children, it's about our future. And when they ask questions, we need to have some answers for them. We truly do. Anyway, November, a lot packed into November. A lot of you on your jobs, you have heard about open enrollment for your health plan, employee health plan benefits. I'm encouraging you. That is very important. That is the time to sit down. Some of them have already closed out. Some of them are still open enrollment. Some have a December deadline, some at the end of this month or different points of time. But whatever it is, you need to contact HR. You need to take the time to review your health plan and make sure you're not missing out on anything. Generally, a lot of companies offer different plans. And I'm going to tell you something. I think about this a lot. I just don't want you to miss the deadlines. But also, I remember the year before I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I was sitting reviewing my plans for that next year. And I want to tell you, there was something on there. There was an option on there about cancer insurance. Do you know something told me to take it? Something told me to take it, and I didn't. I even went to bed and I had a few more days before that deadline occurred. And I said, well, my mom didn't have cancer. My father, as far as, nobody close. I mean, my grandmother, but different type, but that came from an injury that, scar tissue. I started talking myself and something kept telling me to take it. Take that cancer insurance. I think it was something like an extra $4 or something a month. I really should have done it. And so it gives you, this is a time that when you're employing, your employee benefits and you're reviewing this, it gives you a chance and an opportunity to look at this. Even short-term and long-term care, you never know what's going to happen. I have talked to people who have been forced to go back to work. Because during their cancer treatments and really failed at going back to work because they didn't feel like it because they weren't getting paid or they did not select long-term care. They took short-term care so they could get a portion of their salary. This is the time to review all of that. And I'm here to tell you, it's just like with that cancer option that I show cancer insurance. And it wasn't the $4 that got me. It was just the fact that, hey, boom, I just didn't think I needed it. And let me tell you, after the diagnosis happens, you can't get it. It's too late. You can't benefit from that option. So again, employee health insurance enrollment time is now. It's probably past for a lot of you. Please make sure you review your plans. Another thing I want to talk about, if you are approaching 65, hear me really clearly. Medicare is suggesting that you sign up 3 months before your 65th birthday. 3 months before your 65th birthday. I'm going to tell you, I know people who signed up after their 65th birthday and they were penalized, meaning they had to pay higher premiums for Medicare. A lot of times people don't realize, I think it's part A and Lekeeta will be able to, she's going to come on and talk to us a little bit more about these things. She's going to be the expert in the room, but they pay a penalty and part A is generally free, I believe, and it's, B, and then you got D, and then you got F. She's going to tell us about some of those things, but I'm encouraging you, if you are 65 years or approaching that 65 years of age, look into that. Get in touch with Medicare, 1-800-MEDICARE, so you can be definitely, even if you plan to work, Even if you say, hey, I have employee health benefits. I don't need Medicare. No, you need to go ahead and still apply for Medicare. Maybe Part A, and then you figure out if Part B is something additional you want to pay for or waive. But get in touch with your Social Security office. Get in touch with Medicare so you will know what your options are. I'm giving you information. I'm giving you information because I know people, and I've personally, have been impacted by this with my mom. So I'm telling you to please, 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 those deadlines, please pay attention to those. Also, between the time of, I believe it's October 15th, and Lekeeta will tell me if I'm wrong about this, is open enrollment for Medicare. I want to tell you before I bring our guest on a little bit about Medicare. Medicare was signed into law in 1965 by President, I think it was Lyndon, what is his name? Is it Lyndon B. Johnson? That's it, Lyndon B. Johnson. And, it was supposed to be, it was envisioned, I think, as a social insurance. A social insurance program, but later it turned into much more. I want you to know that as of 2021, 63.8 million Americans had coverage through Medicare. 63.8 million Americans had coverage through Medicare. Medicare accounts for 21% of the total healthcare spending in the U.S. And again, open enrollment is October 15th through December 7th. You may say, okay, well, that's for the seniors. But let me tell you something. If you become disabled and you have to get Social Security disability, only if you've paid into these things now, you may not be 65. You could be 50 if something happens and disables you. You could be 40. You will be eligible to get Medicare if you are awarded Social Security benefits. So that option is not something that we should just kind of say, oh, hey, I'm not anywhere near 65. It can happen. It can happen. So I just want to share this information with you because it's during this time we need to really take a look at this. And today I want to bring someone to you who is, I believe, an expert. I had the opportunity to meet her last year. I was shopping at Walmart, and when I was leaving, I saw this table, and it had all these different signage, for different healthcare companies. And, I thought for a minute, I said, do I really want to do this? Do I really want? But because I had to look into this matter for my mom, and I have been pushing this off and pushing this off and pushing this off for years. It's just, if you're like me, you're seeing all the inundating commercials about Medicare Advantage and Medicare Advantage this and different companies and what they're offering. They're competing for the business. But that's because this is truly, truly a very important decision to make. And I'm so glad that I met this young lady. Her name is Lekeeta Charley. She is the CEO of Exclusive Senior Solutions. And she's here today to kind of help guide us through and break some of this crazy and all overwhelming information up for our seniors and talk about some senior solutions for our seniors. Lekeeta, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Merle.
How you doing today?
I am doing well. How are you?
It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you, but talked to you since that time because you were able to help my mom and I and walk through this. Please tell our viewers a little bit about you.
So as you mentioned before, I am the CEO of Exclusive Senior Solutions, but I'm also a licensed and certified insurance advisor. That's important because in order for us to operate in this space, we definitely have to be licensed. We definitely have to be certified by the government to be able to even talk to individuals about their options for Medicare. I've been sort of, in the insurance space for about 7 years, but for the Medicare piece of it, it's been a couple of years now. And so, I kind of came into this space because of the fact that you mentioned that this is National Caregiver Month. I am too a caregiver
I
for both
know.
parents.
Yes.
And I totally can relate. It's very challenging, but when I started to kind of look into a lot of things for my parents, it was just a no-brainer for me because I'm like, there's so many seniors out here that have no clue,
None.
and they really don't have anyone pretty much guiding them through this process, and it does get very confusing, very frustrating because yes, this is the time of the year, unfortunately, where the phone calls take place. You see all of the commercials. Everyone's trying to tell you that the plan that they have is the best plan that they have on earth, and so you don't know who to listen to. And so part of my job, and the reason why I love what I do, is because I get the opportunity to not only just sign someone up for a plan, but to educate and to advise them on what their options are. So, and that takes a process as well.
Yes, it does. It does. And as you said, it's overwhelming. We have to take care of our aging parents, and it's a lot of us out here that are doing that. And if they're not,
Absolutely.
they're in some way helping to care, or they may be coming to that point. And unfortunately, we have people who have lost a lot of their parents, too. But we're thankful to have our parents, and we want to be able to guide them in decisions that's important about their well-being and about their
Absolutely.
health care. So I want to start. I thank you for letting us know, because I know people need to know there are a lot of scams going on out here.
Oh
There are a
yeah,
lot of
absolutely.
people that are going to approach you, and you're able to guide people through this process, whether they're a senior or not. You can help them with many different.
Right.
I want you to, if you start anywhere you want to start, if you
Okay.
want to start with the insurance piece, but I'm going to give you the floor because people need, this is a conversation we need to have.
Okay. So yeah, so as you had mentioned before, specifically for those that are turning 65, you're kind of at that place where you're aging into Medicare. You're definitely correct about the 3 months prior to their birthday month that they have to really start looking at, applying for Medicare. They also have, the month of their birthday as well as 3 months afterwards, but it is encouraged to do it earlier, because of the fact that you don't want to pay that penalty. And so basically, there are two ways that an individual can become eligible for Medicare. One, they are 65, they're turning 65. And then the other is that if they're under the age of 65 and they also have a disability, and as long as they've been receiving disability payments for at least 2 years. However, they have to have met the 40 quarters that is required through Social Security. So that means that you have to have worked at least 10 years, to be eligible. Normally, if you have met those quarters, many people are automatically signed up for Medicare, if they're disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really where it starts, and then from there, people have a couple of options, and it kind of really depends upon, a person's lifestyle, where they are in their life. There are some people who are turning 65, but they're still working. Okay.
Yes.
And so I run into people like that all the time. And they say, well, I'm really trying to, sign up for my Medicare. I don't want to miss the deadline. I said, well, hold on. And then when they tell me that they're still working, they don't plan to retire for another couple of years. I'm like, no, just, apply for your Part A, hold off on
Right.
Part B, because you
Mhm.
don't want to be paying double premiums, because,
Yes.
you still paying premium for your insurance through your employer. But then if you sign up for Part B, then you have to pay that Part B premium that is pretty much standard for everybody.
Right.
So, some people wait. And so, and actually you won't be penalized, because as long as you have credible coverage when you do decide to retire, I encourage people to wait until they decide that they are going to fully retire to go ahead and pay and apply for that Part B
Right.
premium.
But the important piece there is they gotta do it. They gotta do it. Yes.
They have to do
they're
it.
approaching that 65 mark and not say, hey, I got employee insurance. I'll just take it later.
Right.
I don't need it right now.
Right, exactly. So you have that group, and then you have those that do turn 65. They apply for their Part A and B, which is called Original Medicare. Okay, so that's considered Original Medicare. And so basically, a person can just keep Original Medicare because of the fact that they can actually go to any doctor that accepts Medicare. They can add a supplement plan to that.
Yes.
Where they can choose a plan that will kind of cover their co-insurances and co-payments and so forth. But there is a cost, for those supplements. So you do pay a premium. And then you also would have to take out a separate standalone prescription drug plan, which is also a premium. Plus you have to pay the Part B, premium as well, which is required. So some people say, well, why would I do that? It just really depends on the individual because, money may not necessarily be an issue for some people, but they just want to be able to have that freedom and flexibility to see whatever doctor that takes Medicare. And then if they travel, let's say they're going out of town or they're out the country, they can, Medicare is recognized everywhere.
Yes.
So that's one option. But the caveat to that is that Original Medicare, along with the supplement, does not include the dental. It does not include the vision or the hearing. So if you want the dental and vision, you would have to take out another separate plan for that. So you have Original Medicare, you have the supplements, you have the Part D premium that you have to add to that. The other option would be the Medicare Advantage route, where I call it the all-in-one plan.
Yes.
Because of the fact that you have to have Part A and B to even apply for an Advantage plan. And so the Advantage plan is actually something that is offered through the private insurance companies, like the top companies that you see out here, like Cigna, Humana, and so forth.
Yes.
And so basically, those plans do include the dental, vision, and hearing. That is the Advantage. That is Part C. Okay. And then it also includes that prescription drug coverage. So it's an all-in-one plan. Most of those plans, typically, there's no premium that you have to pay. There are some plans that do have a premium. It just kind of really depends, again, on the needs. So the only thing that you're paying is the Part B premium that is required, for anyone that's on Medicare. And you don't even pay a deductible on that plan either. Yes. When you sign up for the Advantage. So a lot of people say, well, gosh, I can save a lot of that money. I can put that back into my pocket and I get more benefits. And not only do you get the dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drugs, but many of these plans do offer additional benefits, like free memberships to a health club.
Yes.
You get over-the-counter allowance where the company will send you a money card. They load that up, once every 3 months. You can use that towards over-the-counter medications, vitamins, the things that you need that you typically will go to like the pharmacy to get, but you're saving that money. And then also you get free transportation. You get so many trips, where you can use that benefit to pick you up from home, take you to your doctor's appointments, bring you back home.
Some people have nobody to do that.
And some people have no one to do that. That's exactly right. And so, and then some plans we even do that even if you're going to the gym, if you need to go to the pharmacy, as long as it's like a medical related type of, trip, you can use that benefit. Wow. And then you have the free meals. Like if you were if you were discharged from the hospital, they would actually send you up to 2 weeks of free meals. So you don't have to worry about what am I going to eat when I come out the hospital, know? So these meals are sent to you at your doorstep. So that's just a few of the different benefits that are included in these plans, in the Advantage plan.
And that's truly important. What you're saying, I have to be honest. When I was looking for my mom, My mom is a retired police officer, Chicago. And I don't know if people remember, but at the end of 2016, the mayor at that time, they dropped the retirees. They
Yes, I've
dropped them
heard that.
and they
Yeah.
decided the city was not going to pick that up. And a lot of them were just left out in the
Mhm.
cold. And a situation like my mom, she had not ever worked. She worked private, but she had been worked where she had gotten Social Security for a minute.
Mhm.
But she had mostly been a government employee and a city employee. So she was not eligible to get Medicare. And so it was really kind of weird because you learn. I'm always
Mhm.
listening. I'm always open to learning. But the thing is, they left a lot of these retirees out there in the cold. And my mom had to turn to the marketplace. And I didn't
Mhm.
know how to guide her. I just knew she was very specific about the kind of doctors and the kind of care she had been receiving, and she wanted to continue that care. And so, we went to the marketplace. I researched all of that. That was, girl, ooh, just like this, it was
Yeah.
overwhelming. It was overwhelming but
Yeah.
then it only boils down at that point, it was only a few that could get her into certain hospitals that she was going to. And she was paying almost $1,300 a
Yeah.
month, where that was a huge jump from where she had been doing the retiree, premium that she had paid every month. So it was life changing. And it was just when we were sitting in the Social Security office one day, because I had just said, I just can't believe that she's not entitled for Medicare. She had checked herself,
Yeah.
and it was a teacher that was sitting there and had said, my husband is an ex-vet, and that's how I was able to get it. And my mom was married, for a number of
Mhm.
years, almost 40 years, if not, to her ex-husband, which is my stepfather, and she was able to get it on his record.
Mhm.
So it was a huge hurdle to overcome. But guess what? They penalized her. They
Yeah.
penalized her. They did penalize her. And I'm like, but see, she came. If you all didn't tell her, but they penalize you if you don't know. If you
Right.
don't know these
Exactly.
things. And so moving past that, I had just, I selected the original Medicare, and I just got a headache. I got a headache when I was looking at that stuff, and I was just like, oh, And so it was really a good thing to meet you. I hesitated. You didn't
Yeah.
pushy. You sitting at the table. I came to you, and I was so grateful. And I said, well, do I really want to do this? Because I've seen all these commercials and stuff. But I was so grateful because, Lekeeta, you walked us through the process. You helped do the research and take the work off of me.
Mhm.
And that was just like, I was like, when you told me, well, tell me the doctors, tell me, the medications, you did the work. And
Mhm.
that really took a lot off of us. And so it was just like life changing for me. And when you came back, you presented different plans. So it is very important. I want my viewers to know it's very important to know who you're working with, and make sure that they're licensed, and make sure that they're well versed in what it is and they know what
Mhm.
they're doing. Because I honestly had never been open to those options. And with, just original Medicare, they don't offer the dental. They
Yeah.
don't, I know things are coming on the horizon, supposedly, in the
Yeah.
vision in some cases, but they don't offer, the things that Medicare Advantage, and there are some ups and some downs and some
Right.
pros and some cons. And you were very open and honest in telling us that. But I want you to know you made our life so much easier. And I'm
I'm so glad.
so grateful. And you did your homework. You helped me, because when you're going through this caregiving process, you don't have time. Some people are caregivers and working, and some are not, but it's a full-time job.
It
And
really
so,
is.
I was grateful that you helped me to be able to see what our options were. And I didn't have to do, because it was just inundating, you know, and you see the ads on, but you know, and people are competing and saying the same things, you know, but you did the research and you were able to bring us viable choices and say, here, it's up to you to decide which way you're going to go. And you weren't pressuring us. You weren't pressuring, but you knew what the heck you were talking about. And so this is why I think that these conversations are very important. They are truly important for our seniors, because I think I was looking at some research and they were saying that the majority of seniors and people that are on Medicare never even bother to call in to see what it is, what their options are. And so that's why I think an individual such as yourself and the type of company that you have is beneficial. It's truly beneficial, because knowledge is power. If you have the knowledge, it can help you make an informed decision. Tell us, Lekeeta, I mean, is there anything else about the Medicare, you know, the enrollment dates? Did I have that right? Is it October 15th through December 7th?
So enrollment is usually every year, October the 15th through December 7th. So it's a short window to kind of really, you know, make a decision. And so we encourage people, if you're, you know, you're still trying to figure out what plan you want to sign up with, you know, if you're turning 65 even, you know, especially between now and December, you know, you definitely need to be talking to a licensed professional about those options, because it's really important, because you want to be able to figure out which plan you want to have, whether it may be a HMO or a PPO. And that's the thing with the Advantage plan too, that I forgot to mention, is that, you know, you have that choice. It just really depends on your needs. So a HMO, of course, you know, the doctors kind of pretty much manage your care. The PPO is open access network, where you have a larger network of doctors, but you don't need the referral. HMO, it does require a referral for that purpose, you know. But a few things I do want to mention, you know, before the show is over, is that in 2022, there are going to be some changes that are going to take place with Medicare. And I want people to be aware, because this would also, you know, help you to figure out, okay, what is it that I need to do? As we all know, you know, for those that are receiving Social Security, you will be getting an increase. You know, they said it's going to be like a 5.9% increase. However, there's going to be increases to Medicare as well.
The cost of it, yes.
So usually there's you know, people say, well, what's the catch? I'm getting this extra money. So it's kind of like the government gives you the money, but then it's taken back in some kind of way. So, you know, the Part B premium, you know, right now, everyone pays $148.50 a month for Part B. So next year it's going up to $170.10. You know, so that's
so don't go run off and start counting that extra money.
Right. Exactly. And then, you know, the annual deductible, like if you have you know, parts A and B, you know, it used to be like 14 something. Now it's going up to like $1,556. I stand corrected. You know, so those things are changing. The Part B deductible, it was $203, you know, for the year. You know, you have, if you have original Medicare, you have to pay that deductible. So it's going to go up to $233.
They're getting their money back, aren't they?
Absolutely. You know, so it's kind of like now, you know, it kind of forces people to kind of figure out what they want to do, because, you know, especially if you have like those Medicare supplements. Like I said, sometimes the money is not an issue, but sometimes, you know, it could be a little pricey when you start seeing all of these changes taking place, you know. So, you know, for those that have supplements, they may want to think about possibly looking at a PPO plan, because it sort of had the same sort of, you know, features in terms of having that flexibility and freedom. You get the same thing with that PPO plan too, just as long as your doctors, you know, if you have a preferred doctor, you know, we check to make sure that they're in the network and so forth.
That is a lot of information, but this is why you do what you do. And what I want to do I know that we're going to have to go to our other guests, but I'm going to ask you, are you able to come back and talk with us on the December 3rd show? I want to talk about what else you do with the Senior
Okay.
Solutions. I want people to know that you are providing options and being a caregiver yourself, how best to test these waters to see what's needed. If you want to tell us a little bit about your business and what else you do, I'd like to, people to have the overview. But before you do, I got a couple of questions and some comments that has come in. And forgive me, viewers, sometimes my vision is not as great. Um, but Phil, my brother Phil, wants to know if there's a special benefit for veterans, disabled veterans. It's on the screen.
Okay.
Thank you, Anthony. If there's a special benefit, can you see that for
Yeah,
veterans?
I can see that.
Disabled?
Yeah.
Yes. He wants to know about that.
Well, I'm so glad he asked that question because the one thing, and I talk to veterans quite a bit, you know, there is, some veterans, they pretty much, rely on the VA, for their services when it comes to their medical services, and that's fine. But the one thing that I do want to stress is that it's a benefit, but it's not insurance. However, you can still, if you're 65 or you're turning 65, you definitely want to consider signing up for your Part A and B to maximize those benefits because you always want to have that second opinion. You have your VA doctor, but you don't have to change that. You can still keep the doctor that you see at the VA, but you also want to have that option to have the Medicare, have the original Medicare or the Advantage plan to be able to get those additional benefits, to possibly even find another doctor, and have a health plan that's going to give you those other additional benefits that I had spoke about earlier. So it doesn't hurt you at all. All it does, it enhances your care. And so I always, I talk to veterans all the time. And so sometimes, I find it amazing that they don't realize that because, they don't know. Because some people think that it's just if I go to the VA, that's it. But there are special Medicare Advantage plans specifically for veterans, where they would just get like the dental, vision, and hearing. But then the prescription drugs, usually, they keep the prescription drug coverage that they use through the VA. So we have different plans through some of the different companies that offer plans specifically for veterans.
That is awesome information. I want to tell you a few more little comments and questions that I have. Everett, I hope I'm not mispronouncing your last name. I think it's Foney.
Yeah.
He wants to know that you're
I know him.
Yes, he said you are a great insurance advisor. So you got a fan on here besides me, girl. You got a fan on here.
I know, Mr. Fonet.
Yeah,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Fonet. Okay, Mr. Fonet, forgive me, Everett. Please forgive me. Everett is saying, is this a question? Can you bring his question up? If I get a Medicare PPO plan, is there anything that can be added to help me with out-of-pocket hospital copays or prescription copays?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a great question because, you talk about some of the other services that I offer through the company, but one of the things, and I think I talked to you about this, Merle, where, we talked about that hospital indemnity plan.
Yes.
So basically, that's an option for those that have the PPO to be able to take that out as another insurance option in the event that they go to the hospital, or they need some assistance with paying their prescription drugs. There is a plan out there. We have a few companies that we work with where it's like a separate insurance. You pay, sometimes a very small premium. But what happens is what people don't know is when you go into the hospital, you are responsible for the first 6-7 days. There's a copayment. So you
is that on either plan?
That's on either the HMO or PPO. Mm-hmm. But let's say if your copay for the hospital is, let's say, $300 a day, Medicare is not going to pay for the first 7 days. But if you stay in the hospital beyond 7 days, they will pick up the cost. However, you will receive a bill. So that's where that hospital indemnity plan comes into play, where the insurance company will send you a check to pay that bill. And so, some of my clients love that option because it's like, wow, I have a peace of mind to know that, I have something that's going to help me pay that cost. Some people
end up giving
have
up your
$2,000, right?
To pay a hospital bill.
Exactly. So everybody don't have money just sitting around to pay a $2,000 bill or $3,000. But it's great to have that peace of mind and know that I have this insurance policy, such as the hospital indemnity, to actually pay for that cost. And even with the prescription drug, they have plans for that as well to kind of help you with that. So, yeah, great benefit to have.
You have a wealth of information, I think, and people don't go to sleep. They sleeping on it, because you have a wealth of information, I think, for everybody. And I know that we have to talk a little bit more because, you know what, I heard this, Susie Orman said this, and she said that, everybody, a lot of people plan to die, but nobody plans to live. And one thing you and I both know is that senior long-term care, not the long-term insurance in these employee plans, don't get it confused, people, but long-term care for seniors, if they have to go to nursing homes, senior assisted living, is expensive. And it is a conversation that I'm ready to have for me and my husband because, we talk, life insurance is one thing, but people planning to die, but is anybody planning to live? People are living longer. I have a great aunt that's 99 years old.
Oh, absolutely.
She is in senior living, not senior assisted, not a nursing home, still functioning on her own, having, her daughter has to come and help. But it's expensive. It's expensive.
Very.
So I think there are a lot of products that you have that you can offer to people of all ages. And I want you to take a look at your calendar and get back to me and let me know in December if you can come back so we can continue the conversation. December 3rd, I was suggesting because it was before that December 7th deadline for open enrollment for Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans. I'm sorry. So I want to be able to tell us real quickly some of the other things that you do with your business, Exclusive Senior Solutions, before I bring my brother Phil on.
So, you mentioned the long-term care, short-term care as well. There is also an insurance for those that need short-term home health care. So that's an option for people. The long-term care is important. Of course, like you said, we talk about life insurance all the time. But it just depends on what it is that you need. Then there are also plans out there, cancer, stroke, heart attack. I was listening to you earlier about when you had, was diagnosed with breast cancer.
The year before, I was sitting there looking to redo my health benefits, my employee health, and it's I believe it was nobody but God that said, sign up for it. Sign up. I kept fighting that voice.
And it's worth it. I'm telling you, those plans are worth it because there is a plan that we offer through my company. It's a cancer, stroke, heart attack plan. So basically, but you have to have it in place, prior to the diagnosis.
Oh yeah.
So it's not the other way around.
You can't get it. You cannot get it. Trust me, I know.
Yeah,
and so a heck of a lesson to learn then.
Right. And the thing is, this particular plan that I'm talking about, you can get, it has different options in terms of the amount of money that you want to take out, for lump sum. So it goes all the way up to I think $50,000. So let's say, for example, you want to take out a plan for $40,000, and you did that today. And next month in December, you go to the doctor, they do an exam on you. They said, Merle, we found some things going on with you. let's say you got diagnosed again for breast cancer or whatever.
The devil is a lie.
I know.
Okay, we
I'm not
can't
gonna claim that.
But okay, but I hear you. I'll use that as an example.
Right. So, if you got diagnosed and you had this plan in place, and because you took out the plan for the lump sum of $40,000, guess what would happen? You notify the company. They'll say, "Oh, okay, Ms. Huckabee. Well, we'll send you the check for that $40,000."
Mm-hmm.
And so that's money that you can have to pay your medical bills, whatever. And then the thing about it too, let's say if you can add a right on there for reoccurrence. Let's say you get diagnosed another 3 years for the same cancer. It starts over again, and then they'll send you another $40,000.
Wow.
So it's just a way to kind of, again, give people the peace of mind that they need, especially with the seniors, because it's already stressful enough when you're living on a fixed income. You're trying to figure out how you're going to make ends meet. Sometimes some of our seniors, which is so sad, they're deciding between, getting my prescription drugs versus, having something to eat, and so having those benefits in place, would be just such a blessing,
Definitely.
for them.
Definitely. Lekeeta, I want, again, I'm hoping you can come back December 3rd because we have so much more to talk about. You have these are all lifelines, I think, in terms that you can offer people and not just seniors. Cancer can happen at any age.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Stroke
can happen at any age. And so would you tell people how to get in touch with you? If they need and they want to contact you for more information?
Sure. So they can call me directly. They can call our office number at 312-869-9046. They can also check me out and check out my company on Exclusive Senior Solutions.com. That tells you all of the services that we offer. And I would be more than happy to come back on December 3rd. I think I told you this. It's the day before my birthday, so it'll be a pre-birthday celebration.
I want you. I'm going to remember. I know I'm going to remember the December 4th is definitely your birthday, but definitely let me know.
Okay.
And because I definitely want to continue the conversation to let people know the other services. We also load this up on YouTube. So people can definitely have this information and can view these episodes at any time. And thank you so much for sharing this information and being a part of our 20th episode. And again, if you want to contact Lekeeta Charley, she is a licensed insurance agent, and not just with life, but she does health. She also has a plethora of insurance that I think that people need. Contact her at 312-869-9046 or go to her website, exclusivesenior-solutions.com or exclusivesenior-solutions.com. And we're going to look to have her back here on December 3rd to tell us more about what she does. Thank you so much for coming on, Lekeeta.
You are so welcome. It's so good to see you after a whole year.
Yes, it's good to see you too. And I look forward to seeing you. Have a happy Thanksgiving here.
You do the same.
All right. And I look forward.
Okay.
All right. Take care. And thank you for sharing all of this information. And the conversation will continue on December 3rd.
Okay. Will do. Take care.
Thank you. Phil, my brother, are you there?
Oh, yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's so good to see you. How you doing?
I'm blessed.
You got my hat on. I'm telling you, I love it. Got my hat on. I ain't gonna spend a lot of time. You heard where I've been, what I've been doing. I know you had some really good questions, really good points. For Lekeeta. And she got it. She got the information. People better stay woke. She's got the information. And definitely too for our seniors. I know you got a lot to talk to me about. We ain't gonna have time to talk about it all today, but come on, tell me about Kyle Rittenhouse. I know you ready. You ready? Did you expect it?
Yes.
Oh, you did.
Yes.
They were setting it up, weren't they? They were setting it up.
I expected it because I saw what was going on all along. You got a biased judge, and he was tilting towards the defendant the whole time. And the political environment that he said he didn't want to be felt in that case was overly felt. So yeah, I expected it. It didn't, it didn't hurt any less. And the reason why I say hurt is because people say, well, you know what, he killed, it was a white guy killing white guy. No, it wasn't white guy killing white guys. It was a uninformed citizen, a hoodwinked citizen going after somebody who was standing up for equality. And it don't matter what race you are.
That's right.
When it comes down to it.
That's right.
If now we all know, you can go to the Wisconsin State Penitentiary right now and see how many blacks and minorities are claimed that they are in there for self-defense, defending themselves. And see if that verdict went good for them.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, do you think if he had been a brother, if he had been black, first of all, he may not have even been alive because they probably
more than likely.
Yeah.
And that was the second thing. That was the second thing. I kind of said it in my broadcast today. I said, you know what? I hate to wish bad on anybody, but the guy who got his arm shot off and said that he pointed a weapon at him and that's why the guy returned fire on him. I wonder what would have happened if he'd have shot Kyle Rittenhouse that day, if he would have got the same justice as Kyle Ritten got today.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. A lot
it's kind of Monday morning quarterbacking in the situation, but there it is.
Yes, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh boy!"
Mm-hmm.
But they were setting the tone. They were setting it up the whole time. I could see where this was going, but it was just
forecasted bringing in National Guardsmen and all that. How come y'all didn't do that on January 6th?
We're back there. Yeah.
You see.
But did you hear? Now listen to this. You know what happened in this Astro World concert with what is it, Travis Scott?
Travis Scott.
They were trying to kind of say that he incited, and he incites, and it amazed me because I don't get into all of that, but what I do say is you're gonna sit here and try to go after him for that, but the president of the United States
can have the Capitol attacked.
Yeah.
Having hangman's nooses erected in front of the congressional building, the Capitol building, having Nazi flags and swastikas and Ku Klux Klan flags fly all up and down the halls of justice, the mother of democracy. But
and we're the United States. We are the United.
United for who? It ain't been there 240 plus years.
I know.
It ain't been, the caveat off that you made mention of something about this Texas principal that was fired. Well, it's kind of funny that a lot of people are making a little, they're not making the bigger issue that I saw in an article that, do you know that man's wife is white? Mm-hmm. And the school board member, I think he had more issue than that with that, more than the quote unquote CRT that he used as a scapegoat. Yeah. I think he had a little Mandingo complex on that one.
I sat on two school boards for 4 years. And I'm telling people that you have to be very careful who you elect to those positions. And you have to make sure that people are not there for personal agendas. And they have to be able to differentiate, those when you are sitting on a school board for a district, All of them are your children, whether they're
yeah.
black, white, yellow, green, it doesn't matter. And you have to make decisions that are best for their safety. And it is about their safety first and protecting them, but at the same time that it's going to be best for their education experience. And, you know, people get caught up and they getting caught up in who's the popular person and who's this, but you know, you gotta be careful. You got to be careful who you elect. And these are the kind of decisions. School boards are more powerful than what people think they are. They give people power, and power in the wrong hands can be very interesting, deadly too in some cases.
I hate to say, you know, I was watching Spider-Man last night, and you know, with great power comes great responsibility. It just keeps coming up.
Yes.
It just keeps coming up, you know.
Yes.
And I mean, lightning. It got the shade outside got a little. It went dark on me as all of a sudden. I was making sure that we could see each other.
Yeah,
but,
we done went past our mark of time, and I don't want us to get cut off. We're gonna talk a few more minutes because I mean I know we're trying to catch up. We're trying to.
Oh yeah, I mean there's so much going on, and you know what? They got the infrastructure bill passed. It's now law.
Yes, that was another thing I had on my list to talk to you about.
The House and did their job. Let's see if Joe Manchin and Miss Sinema decide that they can do something for the American people, for the poor middle class, to strengthen the iron of the fabric of this nation, who are the poor middle class.
Right.
But looking out for the big business and the two percenters. It's time to make America what it exactly is. And if they don't do this, you know, they're already cutting out one of the most important parts, which is education, for the most part. You know, and I think that had to deal with, you know, part of that was hinted towards historically black universities and colleges, HBCUs, etc.
Right.
Now y'all call it what you want to. I think Joe Manchin's a racist. Bottom line, he's a racist, and I think he's a racist, and I also think that the man is looking out for his back pocket when it comes down to his home, energy source for the coal industry. So it is what it is. The evidence shows for itself. It shows for itself.
I'm telling you, it ends up coming out in the wash, you know, whether I agree or disagree. You know, we really are looking to him and the vice president to make change because of the past administrations that we've had in the 4 years prior. So we're looking for them to make good on their promise.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, you mentioned in the comments about, you know, telling the government, you know, the leadership to get the spending bill passed, you know, and this helps. And even though, you know, you would think that it helps seniors, you know, but, you know, it's still a lot. They say, I think in my research, I believe it was 21%. I think Medicare covers. Of the budget. And so that's important. You know, it's really important. We've got to do some different things, and our leadership that's at the helm of our leadership. These decisions and these laws that are being, you know, put into place, and the laws that are not, we still don't have the George Floyd, did I miss that when I was gone?
No, you didn't miss it.
Okay, I thought maybe
you
I
didn't
missed
miss it because ain't nothing happening. Ain't nothing happening on George Floyd. Ain't nothing happening on voting rights. Ain't nothing happening on keeping me alive on a daily basis if I could walk down the street to the store or not. Yeah. And that's the problem.
Yeah. We've got to get these things done. We've got to get these laws passed, and we've got to hold them accountable. We have to hold any leadership, anyone that you have the power to elect, because we don't live in a dictatorship society. At least I hope we don't, but sometimes
at least not yet. At least not yet.
You know, but when we still have a voice, we have to hold the people that we elect accountable for these things. And
Merle, I was watching a movie the other night. It was called Resistance. It was about the Jews of Poland during World War II, prior to World War II, and how the Brown Shirts went in there and took people's parents out and executed them in the street. The parallelism that goes on in everyday society right now, it's just like it's setting the environment for that setup to happen again. And we're supposed to be the model of the excellence of humanity. And that's wrong.
Yes.
That's wrong.
Yes. It is. It's definitely wrong. And it's so much. It's so much. But again, if we're going to make change and we are electing individuals that we believe in, taking them at their word is really not always the best thing. You've got to look and do research, and you got to find out who you're really considering putting into office. And I'm just hoping that we have not, went to sleep and or just settled and said, okay, we don't need these laws passed, or they said they're going to do it when they do it. We got to stay woke. Because see, what a lot of people don't know about that Texas principal back to I think his name is James Whitfield. That was a majority, even though that was a majority white school. I think I remember and I recall there is a law that actually bans any type of, shall I put it, teachings of so-called critical race theory or that.
8 states have that law right now.
8 states.
8 states.
8 states.
And you know what? If we want our kids raised in ignorance, then we as a nation will allow that to stand. But we allowed a tyrant to become elected in 2016. So what else is going to be okay tomorrow? They still won't admit that Mesopotamia was not the first civilization. So why it kind of goes on with the painted picture of one group over another throughout history. They try to whitewash massacres. They try to whitewash the stealing of the continent. So what truth do you want to be the truth? Because the rest of the world knows.
Yes.
The rest of the world knows.
Yes.
But the standard of morality on the planet can't tell the truth. That's just crazy to me. You can't, and I don't want Caucasians to feel that they're responsible for their ancestors' past. But I do want them to understand that the accountability of atonement is everybody's responsibilities.
Right.
See?
Right. And some people are still looking with, still talking about reparations.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, the teacher that got on a couple of weeks ago talking about that her child felt uncomfortable knowing that her ancestors enslaved black people, this and that, and she boo-hooing and all this stuff. Okay, what? So am I going to be upset that Muhammad, the Prophet Muhammad, and people who followed Islam and Moors executed people that attacked their lands? Am I going to be mad about that? No, I'm going to say, you know what, we learn from it. Yeah. Because with great knowledge comes understanding and evolution. And Absolutely. if you can't evolve based on a lie, that's just called an anchor. An anchor on the sea of evolution. You can't do that.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, my
I
brother,
know you got to cut short, but there's one more thing I had to mention.
Yep.
For 85 minutes today, a woman held the presidential powers of the United States, Kamala Harris.
What? See, I wasn't. Back it up.
Joe Biden had a routine checkup and a colonoscopy. He was
Okay,
he
he had to
went
be put to sleep. Yeah.
he went under anesthesia. He requested to Nancy Pelosi, and they signed off on it that Kamala Harris assumed the presidency for a total of 85 minutes.
Go, girl.
Never in history has that happened, folks.
Wow.
So guess what? If that's CRT, there goes some CRT for your butt.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, because
I'm
you're hearing a lot of rumblings in the background that maybe they're not still unified and they're divided over a lot of things. And I hope that's not true. I hope, when people are putting those bites out there, they want people to bite on it and run with it. And then, you have a certain party that really wants to make people paint a picture and make them believe these things. So I am really glad. Thank you for sharing that, because honestly, I had to turn my TV off at some point today.
After today, I had to have
85 minutes.
Yes,
today,
1 hour and 25 minutes.
Was heading our country.
Yes, ma'am.
Had
yes,
the
ma'am.
power. Oh boy. Isn't that's awesome. That's awesome. And it also shows we've come a long way. We also know that a Black man has held the seat of being president. Now you also you got people out there who are going to try to make sure that something like that doesn't happen again for longer periods of time. So we got to stay woke. We got to stay woke.
Look, once you release the tide of progress in evolution, hate can only hold the dike for so long.
Hey, I love it. I love it. I love it. I gotta go, my brother. I gotta go. We're gonna be back on December 3rd. I thank you so much for keeping your ear to the ground, for coming on and sharing your views. And I just love talking to you. We can talk. We could probably do a 5-hour show, and the world would be like, what the heck? We might get an award for longest time and having some engaging conversation, But we will be back on. I thank you so much, my brother Phil. You can catch my brother Phil on Facebook. On Phil, he does his ride on the bike, or but he keeps his ear to the ground, and he tells his truth, and he's riding towards truth. And I truly appreciate it. You gonna close me out, Phil? How do you close your show out? I ain't gonna let you get away now.
Well, y'all know me. I'll tell it to the hot. I'll tell it to the cold. I'll tell it to the young, and I'll tell it to the old. Don't want no laughing, no crying, and most of all, no signifying. Those words by the late, great Petey Green. Until tomorrow, God's love.
Thank you so much, my brother. And I thank you, my viewers, for joining us. I want you guys to have a great and a happy Thanksgiving. Know that we have a lot to be thankful for. I also want to thank my guests, Lekeeta Charley of Exclusive Senior Solutions. She dropped some pearls here today. Stay woke and contact her, because I'm telling you, she's not just dealing with the senior Medicare Advantage and Medicare. She's got insurance that I think everybody can use. Please like, share, comment, and definitely come back. We'll be back on the air on December 3rd. I thank my technical director and producer, Anthony Greer. He is just truly amazing. I don't know what I would do without him. He makes this happen, not just with a phone, but with camera, with microphones. So also, you can see this was our 20th episode. So I thank you so much, Anthony. I thank you guys. We're going to be back December 3rd. Have a happy Thanksgiving. And thank you for joining us here on Real Talk.